Hello there guys, it's Captain Invisible here and welcome to turn number 4 of the custom campaign mod hot seat on the Tyronian map where we are playing as Russia, or the Principality of the Amber Plains as I rename them. So let us jump into this and see what we can do on this turn. So we have a marriage proposal to Antonia. This guy, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. there's a B where there shouldn't be a B. It's Russian. Subislav of Milovs. Jesus, I wish I could rename characters, but unfortunately I cannot. He is a confident defender, which is all well and good, but we really don't want to be defending all that much. He's brave, so he gets morale on the battlefield. He's a social drinker, so he gets command and popularity. He speaks of loyalty, so he has -1 to his loyalty, which is quite bad when it comes to him leading armies. But he's religious, so he gets piety as well. We are going to accept this guy. I think as soon as we accept him, he actually gets some royalty. So actually, he has royal ties now because he married Antonia. So now that he has royal ties, he actually has more loyalty, which is quite cool. I like that aspect of it because he needs a lot more loyalty to his name. So we now have Antonia and this guy. I will learn it eventually, but it's just it's just one of those names where you actually so that is fine. End of turn report. We have some money to play around with, but it's not a lot. In terms of who is top, the Aztecs are top militarily, which is going to please the Empire of the Sunset Coast or Sunrise Coast, and also it's going to please the Scottish and the Spanish, since they're all in the vicinity of these Aztec warriors. Financially, the Turks are top. Again, I don't know what aspect of the Turks gives them that, but they are played by the AI, so it probably results on cheating. The Holy Scottish Kingdom of Ralinad is top in production. I believe it says we're 13th, which is probably true. We'll have to have a look. And then we are second in population to the Aztecs. The Aztecs are always going to own that, simply because they have so many settlements. But being second's not too bad. And then overall we are 14th, which is probably somewhere down at the bottom somewhere. So let's jump there. So after our little hiccup here, we've finally managed to actually attack this settlement and siege it without too many problems. So we are actually going to be able to fight this siege battle this turn. It's not driven us back just yet, which was a slight hiccup. I really would have wanted this settlement sooner rather than later, just to help with our finances. But you know, it can't be helped. It has to affect us somehow. So we're going to move our diplomat back down to the empire down here. If I get chance, if I have a quiet turn, I mean I'll start this turn, but if I end up having quiet turns every now and then, I shall talk about my background a bit more, more specifically what I class the other factions' backgrounds as, because they may have their own ideas for backgrounds, but I also have my own input as to what their backgrounds what would be cool for their own backgrounds in connection with our own. So it'd be nice to set that up. I say, until I know more about their backgrounds, I like to add my own, just to add a bit more flavour to a campaign. So we'll do that this turn, and we will we'll sort of have a play around with that. We might do it for the AI factions first, before we move on to the actual players, simply because again, the players would have their own ideas on what their faction background is. So we're going to build a fort here just because I know it's a kind of a waste of money, but the second you don't build a fort, you end up getting attacked in that region, which you really want to avoid being attacked with my Grand Duke here as much as possible. So he's going to be nice and safe in a fort. This is where Yugoslav ended up, so we can play around with him a bit later on. For now though, we're going to build some ballista. We will need ballista because again, you only get one spy in this campaign, so we might as well start using artillery sooner rather than later. Speaking of spies, we do have this one, which we will start moving down here to keep an eye on the Turks. It sounds like they are financially secure and they own all of this rich land here, so it'd be quite nice to get involved with them as soon as. Again, I don't know which direction you guys want me to take. Certainly, I've posted turn 1 up I think it was a week ago, or a couple of days ago, maybe 5-6 days ago, and I'm going to be doing turn 2 after this video goes up, after this video is finished recording. So again, if you've already mentioned in the comments, great. If not, as I've not seen it in turn 1's comments, so as of yet anyway. So that's movements all sorted. Recruitment we don't have enough money to do as of yet, but we will play around with that. So we might as well fight this battle and get this battle out of the way. So again, similar sort of setup to last time. I don't think I went over what the AI has in this battle, but they have some Flemish pikemen, some crossbowmen, these armoured sergeants, which are a pain, and some mailed knights. So they do have quite a significant force in here, but we can beat it. In fact, it's one of the easiest sieges I had planned. The other one was the difficult one, and I seemed to manage that one without, well, in fact, it went worse the other one. So hopefully we can make up for it with this one. Excellent. So we've deployed on this side. Originally it would deploy us when I did my sort of practice run, and it didn't kick us out. It would deploy us on this side because we were coming from the northward angle, so this must be north this way. But instead it's deployed us on this side, and to be honest, this side's slightly better, simply because if I can get troops up here, I have quite a nice line of sight all the way in here, so it makes for quite a nice position. We're going to get the archers off the ram. Just position them maybe about here. The crossbowmen are going to go up on that ridge to overwatch the armoured sergeants, who are the main threat in this game. These guys are going to mount the ram when the time comes. Get the general and the horse archers there. Excellent. So we're going to march up, and the AI is going to immediately try and run for the town centre because it doesn't see the threat of the siege equipment. So its instinct is to run back and wait for my siege equipment to start coming up. So we're going to wait for them to get a bit of a way. Certainly the crossbowmen will need to be in the town centre, because if they start to fire back at us, then it's going to be a very tough situation to be in. crossbowmen should be in a decent position there. We'll see. We'll be able to see when they start firing. That's why I've got them on with fire at will off, just because I don't want them to start shooting like madmen. So as soon as we start adding this equipment, or getting onto this equipment, the AI is going to freak out, thinking that we're going to attack its gate, and it's going to start rushing troops over to try and defend the gate. Well, it should do anyway. If it doesn't, then that's fine by me. I'll just bust the gate down, but it usually does have a bit of a paddy. It's probably not doing too great because its formations are all messed up. I think its cavalry's going to move. If it doesn't, that's fine by me. I'll bash the gate down. A bit like what I did with the oh no, you wouldn't have seen it. What I basically did in the previous one I did was I would use the peasant archers to bash the gate, and as soon as the gate was open, the AI would freak out and start to try and rush men to try and plug the gap that it saw. And whilst they were trying to rush to plug the gap, I would have my crossbowmen at this side and just shoot down this nice little lane and try and kill off the heavily armoured units with the crossbowmen and the lightly armoured ones with the archers. I think it's probably going to do the same here. It's going to let me get to the gate, and then it's going to realise that actually the gate is going to go down and it needs to stop me from doing that, and it's going to start to rush these troops over to try and stop that from happening. It's probably going to happen. Yeah, here we go. It realises the threat of the siege equipment now, so it's going to start moving its troops over. Leaving the crossbowmen, which is exactly what we need. Looks like it's going to march though, which is going to give my ram time to get the gate down.
Our men have done well. The gates have fallen.
And I can get these mercenary spearmen out of the way now, just because I don't want them to get shot by the towers. Would be a significant waste. So the archers again are going to target the pikemen because the pikemen are really fragile. They have very limited armor, or they have basically no armor, and they don't have shields, so archers are going to do a lot more damage to them. Then my crossbowmen can target things like the cavalry and the armoured sergeants. Just make sure they're going to get a nice angle over these walls. Looks like some of them are firing straight on, which is kind of what I wanted. See if I can set them up even better. Seemed like... Seemed like the thicker the formation, the better it was. We've got a few kills on the cavalry anyway. Hoping these guys just stop around about here. And if they could face that way, that would be hilarious. But this side is good as well, because they don't have shields at this side, they only have these spears, so they don't have a missile block chance on this flank either. So the archers are dealing with the pikemen. What I'm going to do is turn them off fire just for a few seconds, because if you switch on and off firing, the enemy will eventually, or the AI will eventually tight formation the troops, and then you can shoot at them again and get a few more kills whilst they're in tight formation. Same here, crossbow fire coming in, turn them off for now. And turn them back on as soon as they go into tight formation. just keep doing this. In fact, I think my crossbowmen are not... Oops. Don't think my crossbowmen are really firing very well. They're not losing as many armoured sergeants than I would like. Oh no, they're firing okay. In fact, they're firing really well like that. So it must just be... must be a waiting game now. A waiting game of death. I've had some really weird things happen in this siege battle. The last time I did the siege battle, I didn't get to the gate with the ram. I just simply took my mercenary spearmen off the ram, and they went into the town centre. Then I put them on the ram, and they would come back out. So I could basically make the AI do what I wanted there. But then all of a sudden they like all came out of the gate, except for the pikemen. I don't know what the pikemen were doing, but the cavalry and the armoured sergeants came out of the gate to do stuff. But they were sort of walking out of the gate, so it gave me a chance to fire at them with all my missiles. And then I just charged the mercenary spearmen with my general, and that basically silenced the entire army. So it was an unusual one. I've not seen that happen before. Where's these guys? Archers are generally better for Archers are generally better for firing over the walls. The problem with these walls are if you get too close to them, like if I was right up here. Actually, you can right down here. You can actually get quite a decent angle over here. But the closer you are to the walls, the harder it is to fire over them. So yeah, you'll end up, especially crossbowmen, end up firing in an upward arc, which is terrible for them to actually get damage down. You really want them to be firing straight on. See if we can see the damage that comes in with them. Yeah, lack of shields at this side is really going to hurt these forces. Not done too much damage. There is some coming in. I still have about a quarter of the ammunition left, so we should be able to take care of these guys. The cavalry I'm not too scared of, because the cavalry will die to the mercenary spearmen. Pikemen, yeah, they're down to minimal numbers. It's just, as I say, these armoured sergeants that need to be whittled down, because certainly with experience upgrades, they are going to be the toughest thing on the battlefield. Excellent. That's almost all the ammunition gone. I can use these guys, but I don't know how well they'll do. So we might as well charge in. Again, I'm going to lose more numbers doing this. It's a shame because I've done this battle with losing about 26 men, and this is going to kill more men. But fortunately, they are mercenaries, so it's not the end of the world.
His lord is with us today. We have captured our men are winning the battle. If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy. Only half the enemy force remains.
Let's see if we can get these crossbowmen and force the enemy to do something about our general's bodyguard. again, don't mind losing the mercenary spearmen because they are only mercenary spearmen. I'm gonna probably get rid of them anyway because they're gonna cost me a fortune to keep up with. I want these guys dead.
Lord, our men are in command of the city.
Let's give a quick rally. And then we can try and
Enemy general
take
is no
out.
true man.
So the male knights are dead.
Of battle and abandons his men to their fate.
I suppose we could actually theoretically just try and capture the town centre.
Praise the saints. Our men have taken control
It might
of the
force
city.
the AI to actually have to come forward and try and stop us. Ah, there we are. I thought there was a unit left. It's these mailed knights.
The enemy are utterly vanquished. This is a great
There we are. So yeah, more losses than my 26, but I mean it's not the end of the world. Because most of it was either my general's bodyguard or the mercenary spearmen, and the mercenary spearmen are going to get disbanded. So it's again, it's the losses that I can manage. But we are going to sack it and get rid of these guys and these guys. General can stay in there. We'll get some roads here. And some roads here. So what that'll do is that will connect up all this area. So it will allow us to bring troops down from the capital easier. It will allow us to bring troops up from these places easier. It'll just allow us to get to the front lines easier, because at the moment it's taking us quite a long time. Even with cavalry, it's taking several jumps. I mean, this was turn 3 I captured this, so the cavalry from here, 1, 2, it's going to take us 3 turns to get with cavalry from the capital all the way down to this fort here at the front line. So it's going to take us a while to do anything. But as I said, the distance here is what kind of brought me to this area, this nice river, and then the distance between it. It feels like Kiev. When I played the Kievan Rus on stainless steel, on the stainless steel mod, they had this. I mean, they have this river anyway because it's the campaign map, but they have this nice sort of square river corner, and they're sort of kept within it, and the distance between your cities is massive. So it takes you a while to transfer troops over, but it just felt like such a defensive position. And then the rivers felt like a sort of a canal network. We have a lot of canals over here, especially in the area where I live. So it felt really nice to have that, and to have that idea that you could have a canal system running through your empire like that. And this feels almost the same. You've got sort of the water running down here, so you could almost transfer troops from over here all the way down. You could even transfer them all the way down here. I mean, just feel like you could just have your troops, you get off here and sort of travel down a network to this castle here on ships, and it would take far less time doing that than having to walk over. So it felt really good having this area as it was. So I think that's all the, yeah, because I've run out of money now, so that's all the financial stuff I'm going to be doing. We are going to have about sort of 2,000 next turn, so that's going to be okay. The one thing I found, I noticed it when I was practicing this turn, I only have 200 King's Purse. Now, I don't know whether I'm the only one that has 200 King's Purse, or whether everyone just has such a low King's Purse, but that is significantly lower than in other campaigns. The lowest I've had in a campaign was about 500 King's Purse, and I've had campaigns where it's been easily 2,000 King's Purse funds. It's usually about 1,000 or 1,500. So 200 is why our financials are pretty rubbish, because we're basically on such a low funds balance. So we have to make up for it with other things like sacking here. 500 from sacking, and taxes. My taxes are going to be quite high because I am because I've got one of the highest populations. So in terms of the statistics, overall it looks like the Venetians are not the highest. Who's the highest? Byzantines. So overall we've got the Byzantines as the highest in the human players, followed by, probably closely by, Scotland and Holy Roman Empire. Spain is directly afterwards. The Papal States is probably somewhere. It looks like they're down actually below me. Venice is next. Me and Venice are kind of merging here. Unfortunately, we are still at the bottom. We've had quite a rough run of it, but actually, it's not too bad because we always start at the bottom anyway at the start. So over here, so it's not too bad. We're sort of following suit, but that's because we had that bit of a rough patch earlier, and we just need to build up. It's all building up from now on. Military, it looks like Venice is still top. Again, those Italian spear militia they get are gonna be quite good for this sort of military expansion. We did increase because we got some cavalry, but again, it must not count the horse archers as that great, so it's still keeping us quite low compared to everyone else. Spain is doing okay as well. Not really. It increased here. They did a lot of increasing here actually, but nothing much then. Again, we didn't buy anything last turn, so it looks like Spain have really done some expansion in their military. Holy Roman Empire looks like he's been expanded his military as well. Expanded, then he may have lost some during a siege and then just expanded again. The Byzantines have been slowly building up, and then Scotland again, it looks like they've done a Holy Roman Empire where they've expanded the military, then lost some, then expanded it again, whereas we've sort of slowly been increasing it, lost a few here, and then we've got that cavalry last turn, so that's increased ours there. Production looks like it's a oh no, we're not top anymore. It looks like it's a battle between Scotland owns that quite comfortably, but the battle between the Holy Roman Empire and the Byzantines now, with us dipping down a little bit, and then Spain sort of leveling out. Looks like the Venetians spending a lot on their infantry and military units are not doing too well in the production rankings. And territorial, the Holy Roman Empire, the Holy Empire of the Sunrise Coast, should really call them by their actual name, doing really well there. And then the rest of us are sort of hovering around here, except for Venice, who has yet to expand. Financially, again, we're not going to be too rich at this point. Certainly the whole Roman Empire spending a lot of money on troops. Maybe mercenaries is reducing quite a bit. The Byzantines are making quite a lot of money though, so we'll see if they can expand a bit further on that. And then population, we are top there. The Aztecs are right the way up there. So if you imagine this is the Aztecs, they're first, we're second, so there is nothing between me and the Aztecs. So that's testament to how much population the Aztecs actually have. But after that, yeah, we're all pretty much the same except for Venice, who's bottom again. Probably because they've not expanded yet. I know that I've expanded. I know some of the other players would have expanded by now, but Venice doesn't look like they've expanded all that much. Excellent. So that's that. Oh, in fact, let me just check my... yes, this guy's now a family member, so we do have 3 family members. We're going to have a few more once these guys come of age. And if these guys have a child, then we'll have some children coming along here. So we are expanding our family tree, which is good. So that was just about everything. We do have a mission to do something with reinforcing a region. I don't like reinforcing regions, even for more military units. It's not worth it, and our finances won't support too much, as much military now. We've just got too much on the books, so we'll just use what we've got to expand here, and then we might look to expand our military a bit more. So, the AI factions, I might just group all the AI factions into one, simply because there won't be as much backstory to them because they're only AI. So let's start up here with the Norsemen, the Norwegians. So they feel like sort of a mountainous people, kind of your typical Scandinavian, rugged terrain kind of people. There were probably lots of different various tribes that have unified over time. Christianized, very possibly. They may have their own idea of Christianity, but they are Christianized. And they've just been trapped in by these mountains, because very few armies would be able to really expand past these mountains unless you are Hannibal, who managed to do it across the Alps. But these feel more vicious than the Alps, simply because of the width of them, and then the peaks of these many different mountains. It just feels a bit more rough than the Alps themselves. So yeah, that's basically the Danes. They've not really been able to expand past these mountains, but they have at least grouped up their tribes into one kingdom. The Islamic faction, so Egypt, the Moors and the Turks, I want to sort of roll them into one. They used to have a gigantic Islamic empire, similar to the one we saw in our timeline. I forgot what they call it now. The gigantic sort of caliphate, where it basically expanded all the way from Persia all the way through to Iberia. So it was quite a significant empire, and that would be testament over here. All the way from Egypt in this corner, right the way through this desert, which again Arabs love, and then all the way up through these woods. So yeah, that's the Moors, the Turks, and the Egyptians, and basically they are different factions, different branches off from this empire that crumbled. So the Turks occupying this space, and then the Moors down here, and then Egypt still in this far corner over here. During their conquest of this region, they obviously came into contact with the Mongolian force in the mountains, and the Tyranids as well over here. What I had in an image of them was that they were part of the Mongolian Empire that branched off and became Islamized. So they are sort of a mirror image of the Mongols over here. They are the Islamic side of that, and they sort of branched off and created their own horde, their own nomadic horde. The Mongols had the similar thing in our history. They had the golden horde in Russia, and then they had a different, I think, an Islamized force in the Middle East as well. Potentially, I don't think it was Islamized actually. I think the Islamized one was the Golden Horde, and the other one, I forget the proper name of it, but it got dissolved by the Mamluks anyway. But yeah, I feel like the Tyranids would be the ones that became Islamized, and the standard Mongols were kind of the reigning dynasty that again pushed into the Amber Plains and then were pushed back by our own forces. The only other one is England. I feel like England was either part of the Holy Roman Empire, or they were just two different expeditionary forces. I kind of feel like they were either from a different region and sort of set sail and landed here. Kind of your typical sort of America's kind of deal, where a lot of nations wanted to push into this new land, and the English landed first and started to expand this way, and then unfortunately they were rear-ended by the Holy Roman Empire, who wanted to expand and try and get these gold mines, so they pushed the English further into the mountains, and they ended up sort of on these plains where, you know, there seems to be a lot of tailor dyes and things. These are silks actually, but they were pushed back by the Holy Roman Empire maybe. But that's speaking too much about the Holy Empire of the Sunrise Coast. I don't want to speak too much about their history. So I feel like they're foreigners in this land. Same with Spain. Spain feels the most foreign because it's on this island and it's right next to the border. So that feels like the Spanish conquistadors coming over and landing on this island to claim it for their own, and then they'll launch various crusades against the native Aztec people. The Aztecs feel like the natives, as do the Byzantines and obviously the Arabs, the Islam. I feel like the rest of the factions, even our faction, kind of branches off them in a way that they are sort of almost connected, but their families have been sort of bred past the point that they are related at all. So they kind of became their own people. So I feel like that would be quite a nice story. But that's the idea I had for most of the AI factions. As I say, it's not too in depth. But I'm hoping it'll connect to the other players' ideas. I especially like the idea of having a gigantic Islam empire, caliphate, sort of controlling all this region from here all the way down to the to what Egypt owned down here, and then it sort of fractured apart as they had different ideas. That happened in our history as well, and I feel like if it happened in our history, it's probably going to have happened here, at least to some extent. Not maybe exactly the same way, but in some extent, in some shape or form, for similar reasons to what happened with our in our timeline. So that's basically it. I think I've gone over everything. Nothing too interesting to go over this turn. So next turn is just going to be building up. We can use this money maybe to buy a inn, 1600 florins. We could actually do as well with a knight's, I don't think I can see here, with a knight's stables, but I think I need a castle to do that, so, and we're not going to be able to afford it next turn, so we might have to save up for a castle. We are going to, it's going to take us 2 turns to get a ballista to attack here. We might actually just group our forces up and attack it, but I would really like a ballista over here just so I've got one ready to take on the Turks. So it'll take us, it's going to take us 3 turns to get our spine, so we might actually be able to in 3 turns try and get a spine. Failing that, we at least in 3 turns we'll have a ballista sort of here, so we could try and so we can try and move it down and see if we can take it with the ballista, failing our spy being able to do that. So that's the plan for the next few turns. Oh, diplomacy. I don't know whether I've gone over new names yet. So Holy Empire of the Sunrise Coast, Spanish Inquisition, not Inquisition. Merchant Republic of Venice, Holy Scottish Kingdom of Ralinad, the Valdocian Empire, the Moors, the Turks, the Egyptians, Denmark, the Disciples of Tyrone, praise him, the Aztecs, the Mongols, and the Pyramids. No diplomacy as of... Oh, in fact, no, we do have a war between the Byzantines and the Turks. So that's really interesting, because even though they are right next to each other, I felt like there was some settlements the Byzantines could expand to round up here. So I don't know whether they've done that and they just needed to push against the Turks, but that's very good. That means that the Turks are going to be focused over there, and we can actually push in here, take this castle, which they wouldn't have been able to take, and then push into the Turks' land, and hopefully join up with our Orthodox, the Orthodox nations, because we're currently outnumbered by the Catholics, which is something we would, certainly from a religious point, we don't want unrest due to Catholicism, so we need to expand our orthodoxy as much as possible. So that's it. We can end the turn, and we can save it. Save the game as turn 4. Praise him. If I was Catholic, I would praise him, but I'm not, unfortunately. So we cannot do that, I'm afraid. So that was the turn 4. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you all in the next video.